Belinda, thank you so much for joining me on the Salon Owners Collective podcast. Pleased to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and share some tips.
Well, before we do that, why don't you tell us a little bit about who are you, where are you, what do you do, how did you get to be doing that?
Sure. So I'm Belle. I'm from, my company's called Social Standards. So basically I help salons save time, attract new clients, and increase revenue into the salon through social media marketing. Previous to this, I was working in marketing and PR for the last 12 years, always working with hair and beauty brands. So I've worked with brands like Toni & Guy and Dermalogica. And for the last nearly 6 years, have been working for a professional hair care brand called Q&A Hair Cosmetics as their digital brand manager, but now obviously out on my own. I really saw a need for salons, that really saw them struggling with social media. They just didn't have the time being on the floor all day, running a business and managing staff. They just didn't have the time to do their social media marketing. So I really felt like that's something that I could help them with, given my past experience. I'm based in Sydney, but I work with salons all over Australia and New Zealand.
Love it. Nice. And I guess that gives you flexibility to work around family and young children.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons why I wanted to start my own business was to have that flexibility, given that I have 2 young children. So I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. That keeps me very busy. So having that flexibility is really something that I really wanted, and having a passion to really help hair salons grow their business through social media marketing as well.
Yeah, nice. One of the reasons I invited you here today is that one of my observations is that most salon owners are busy. They're busy on the floor, they're busy managing team, they're busy trying to get the bills paid and make ends meet. And then they have to do this thing called social media marketing on top of it and rally their team to do it. And too often I observe that there's no plan, it's a little bit at random. And somewhere along the line, we lose purpose to why we're doing it. And it becomes oh, shit, I haven't posted for a few days. I better do something quickly. What shall I post? Must tick the box. And it all becomes a little bit inconsistent. And so I really wanted to bring you here today and talk about how do we actually make this successful? What are some of the really important things? But let's start with the basics. Let's get the basics right. What are some of the important things that we should do? And if all else fails and everything blows up in the salon, that we at least do these things. What do you reckon?
Yeah. So I think you've nailed it on the head there, Larissa, like with the salons not having a plan, being so busy and posting on the fly, there's no purpose to the posts that they're doing. And that's the first thing I'll do with any salon that I work with, is to have a strategy. So build a strategy for their business. And what that does is it sets out the goals that we're trying to achieve, the broader business goals, and we work out how the social media marketing will the content will work towards achieving those goals and supporting the business as a whole. And it becomes a lot easier once you have a plan, because your goals are set, who your ideal client is, what their pain points are, who you need to talk to. And that really makes it clear in terms of the type of content you need to be posting, and also what you need to be writing in the caption, because that's something that a lot of salons really struggle with as well. So if you can kind of set up a plan and have a strategic approach to the social media marketing, it just makes it a lot easier, and it'll also save you a lot of time as well.
I want to talk about time, but before we do this, what you're really saying is we need to have a better strategy than just saying #love-this and sharing the picture.
Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, I think, a lot of people will hear the word strategy and they might, oh God, what's a strategy? That seems really scary, but it's basically just a fancy word for having a plan. And once you have a plan, then it just makes everything else that follows that really easy. So just ensuring that you have a strategy and you can stick to that, then you always really know what to post and what to write, and you're not just posting on the fly. It really gives your post purpose, and you can really talk to that ideal client's pain points. So try and attract them, get those new customers, new clients into the salon business and increase your revenue.
Yeah, because I think, it is that time problem, right? Because we think, should I must post something. When you're on the fly, you're grabbing at straws for anything, rather than creating a little bit of time and potentially smashing out a strategy for the whole month. And then when you come to do it, you already know what you're doing. You don't have to think about it twice. You've made the plan. It's actually a much smarter way to do any strategy in business, actually. So let's talk a little bit about saving time when we're putting together and doing our social media. What would you say is like the number one thing to think about?
Yeah, so definitely, again, having a plan and then setting a schedule and sticking to it. So, and setting a realistic schedule too. So if you, have a goal that you want to post like 14 times a week, that's not going to be realistic when you're running a salon and managing a team. So set a schedule that you can realistically stick to and be consistent with that, because consistency when it comes to social media marketing is really important, particularly with Instagram. Instagram, if you think of it, it's like a machine. It doesn't like to have things happen sporadically. It likes to know what's happening and what you're doing. So if you can stay consistency, you'll see a lot better results on your social media marketing. So set that schedule and stick to it. So I always say try and do a minimum of 3 posts a week. Anything more than that, amazing. But if you can just do a minimum of 3 a week, then that's going to keep you consistent and you're going to see a lot of great results. So just make sure that you set the days and the times that you're going to post and you stick to that schedule. You can also schedule posts in advance too. So there's a lot of free tools that salons can use to kind of plan out their social media posts for the week and stick to it and have it set and ready to go. So you might have heard of Later. Even Facebook has Facebook Creator, so its own inbuilt scheduling system. So these are free. Of course, they do have paid plans, but I think normally you can get around 30 free posts a month. So if you're doing, 3 or 5 posts a week, that's enough on the free plan that you can kind of set your posts in, write your captions and schedule it for what time and day you want it to go live. And that way you can concentrate on the salon, being on the floor, managing your team while that's kind of running in the background. So yeah, really say have a strategy, set your schedule, stick to it, utilize free tools that make your job life easier. And another great tool is Canva. So this is kind of like something that graphic designers hate because it takes away all their work. But basically, a lot of the salons I'll work with will have set templates that we use and have built in Canva that we just kind of update and change. So that way you've got that consistency of your brand, image, look and feel on your pages, but you're also saving time because you're just reutilizing those same templates month to month or week to week. So that's a really great time-saving tip as well. And this is one thing like I really encourage all salons to do is treat your social media like a client. So if you don't make a little bit of time for it, you're never going to have time to do it. So put it in your appointment book. And I always say put it in the first thing in the morning so that you'll never run late with a client and you'll always have time to do it. And you could break this up into weekly appointments or you could do monthly, but setting, half an hour to 60 minutes every week on that Tuesday morning in the salon before anyone comes in, before the staff arrive, before the clients get there and distract you, to really kind of plan out your content, write your captions, set it in your scheduling tool, and then it's all done for the week ahead or the month ahead and you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. All right. Well, there's some tips. There's no excuses now. We can take action on that super easily.
Overload of tips. Sorry about that.
One of the things that I know we often go to social media for is I need bums on seats. I need new clients in my chair. And it feels like, well, this is where we should go to attract new people into our business. But what should we do and what shouldn't we do when we go out to the social media land and look for new clients? Give us some tips around that.
So the key, there's a lot of different strategies you can utilize depending on what the goals are in your business. But 2 key elements that are great to focus on are 1, optimizing your profile. So making sure that your profile is set up correctly and it speaks to your ideal client. So that you're attracting clients to come to your profile so that when they actually land on it, they know that you can help them and you can solve their hair problems. The second thing is the content that you're doing. So if you're not doing good content, you're not getting that engagement, then you're not going to be able to attract people into the business. And it's also about, again, having a strategy, knowing who your ideal client is or your dream client that you're wanting to attract into the business, working out what their pain points are and making sure your social media marketing is speaking to that. So that comes down to the content that you're posting and also the captions that you're writing so that you're writing captions that convert. A lot of salons might come to me and say, oh, I want lots of followers. That's a vanity metric to me. It's not having 10,000 followers, depending on what your strategy is, of course. But if you're a physical salon business, how is your business going to be different if you have 10,000 followers? or 20,000 followers. I would much rather get you 20, 50, 150 real potential customers that live around your area and the surrounding suburbs that can actually walk into the business and bring in you money. That's way more important than just focusing on the numbers of your followers. So really, yeah, optimizing your profile and making sure your content is speaking to your ideal client.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, in some cases, we don't even have 10,000 people in our local area, let alone all of them following us. So I think that's a good sanity check about like what's actually important. Is it bums on seats, or is it people from around the world watching you from afar who are never going to, come and visit? So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Give us an example. Like, what is something that, some of these strategies that you've put into place for some salons, like what kind of results can we expect when we actually take action and do the stuff that you're suggesting?
Yeah, so I do always say that social media is not a short game. You're not going to see overnight success, but if you are implementing the right strategies and being consistent, you will see results. So one of the salons I work with, Delal's Cuts and Curls, she's based in inner South Sydney. So she had an Instagram. She didn't have a strategy though. She wasn't really being consistent with it. Never knew what to post, never knew what to write. So we started working together October last year, just after I had started my business. We optimized her profile. We built a strategy for a business and understand who we really wanted to speak to. And then we created content and captions that spoke to that ideal client. So in the first week of working together, we had attracted 18 new client inquiries into her salon business. And prior to us working together, she literally had never had one come through Instagram. So she was just blown away and over the moon. And she really saw that, having the right content, saying the right things can really convert those followers and attract new inquiries that want to come into your salon and want to have your services.
Yeah, I think that's great. All right. Well, Belinda, you're a business owner yourself, juggling all of the things, running a business, being a mum. What would you say is a quote or a mantra that keeps you moving forward, keeps you going, keeps you sane when things get tough?
Definitely would have to be done is better than perfect, because a lot of salon owners or hairdressers as creatives, we can be a little bit of perfectionists as well. So not worrying too much if the post isn't perfect, but rather worry about being consistent and getting it up there and showing up. So done is better than perfect would have to be something that I encourage and live by.
I love it. Yeah, I agree too, because I don't know, we would never grow a business if we waited for everything to be perfect. You just have to sow the seed. It's kind of like waiting for the tree to grow before you sow the seed. Like just sow the seed. You can't even see, you can't see anything right now. You just have to trust the process.
100%.
All right. What would be a book, a podcast, a resource, or something that you can share with us that you think all salon owners should get their hands on?
Yeah. I've got a couple of things to say here. So one is the network itself. So our industry and salons, there's so many great Facebook groups or networking events that you can kind of be a part of to really see what other salons doing and bounce ideas off each other. So that's one great resource I definitely recommend. The other one would be Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind. So this goes back to having mindset in your business. It's a really great book. I love it. So I'd read it again and again and again. So if you haven't read it, definitely recommend it, or you can listen to it, on Audible. So Audible.
Oh, Auto Bible. I never thought about it like that.
So
I love that.
Not religious here, but.
All right. Belinda, I know salon owners listening are going to want to stalk you. Where can we find you? What's your dub and your socials?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Social Standards AU. And I'm also on Facebook under Social Standards too. And then my website is socialstandards.com.au. If you're interested in learning more, you can book a free 15-minute chat with me through my Instagram bio. So I'd love to connect with you and see how I can help your salon grow.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great. I hope I've given some good insights for your salons.